sick.
So you think you have RSV?
Well, I don't know if I do because I never got tested, but my son definitely does. Noah, he's been coughing for weeks and months, actually.
We had a friend who his daughter was hospitalized for like 2 months or something with RSV when she was an infant.
But it was getting really bad recently, so we took him into the doctor and they tested him. Well, first they did like steroid tests because they wanted to make sure it wasn't like something with allergies maybe, or I don't know, something like that. And then they did the RSV test and it was positive. And I've had something too, because my wife mentioned that I've had some symptoms too. And they're like, yeah, it'll manifest in adults as the worst cold you'll ever have. And it's not the worst cold I ever had, but it's definitely the longest. Like, it's just lingering and lingering forever. And it's awful. I was coming down with it like while we were talking to Joe from Hats Off Entertainment. I was like trying not to like cough or blow my nose, so it probably wasn't as talkative. So I've just been working from home because I work with a lot of like middle-aged to boomer-aged adults, and if you start coughing, they just turn their neck at you, and you don't want to deal with that. So you don't want to deal with that. And you also it's kind of rude because you don't want to give them anything either.
Yeah, I was home today because I turned 39 on January 20th, and we went away for the weekend. Actually, we went to Fun Spot again for like the third time. Each year that Gloria gets older and can appreciate different aspects of the arcade, that's great. But for the third year in a row, she was really into mini golf the whole time. She was like just super into and very competitive with mini golf. So that was actually kind of fun because they have a good setup there, an indoor one. At one point, like she wanted to go explore non-1980s and 1990s arcades, and I wanted to go into the museum area. So I took a bunch of money, and it was like, I'll meet up with you guys later. And they had a TMNT, a full-size TMNT cab, and there was a guy just standing there on like level 2. I just walked up to him. And I played as Leonardo. He was like Raphael. And we just beat the game together. Both of us, contributing the coins that we need to as necessary. We didn't exchange one word.
Classic.
And when it was done, we just both left.
Classic.
Yeah.
It's like that like meme with like male relationships where it's just like, I haven't my best friend, I haven't talked to him in 13 years.
Yeah. Or like your wife will be like, where are they living right now? Or, what's their job? And you're like, I don't know.
I don't know. Not even important to me.
You never ask for like their actual life. They're like, and it's totally inconceivable to the wife that you would not know that information. But I was reading or watching something recently where they were saying that like male relationships, we tend to be at our most comfortable when we're standing side by side, like King of the Hill, staring at something else, like some other thing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The like target of our conversation.
My wife was talking about she goes to a book club, and they talk about the book for like 10 minutes. And then they just talk about like other stuff, like, just other topics, just miscellaneous gossip and stuff. And then there's a male equivalent to that book club that the men go to, and they talk about the book for like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, they can only talk about the topic, right? Yeah, exactly. That's what this was. I mean, he and I just wrecked TMNT, and then we just both went off into our normal lives, and neither of us felt awkward about it. On that getaway, Gloria was coming down with something, and what's weird about her, I don't know if your kids are the same way. She'll start to come down with something, and then if you just kind of hit her with Advil at the right intervals, the whole problem goes away. Like, she's completely healthy, and then she'll start to crash bad, and she'll start to get all of her symptoms, and then you can knock her right out of it with, the right, as long as you're on the right schedule of dosage, where, that's not me at all. It feels to me like when I get a cold, there's basically nothing that solves it except for time itself. It was like about a week later, I got something, and I was kind of bedridden for like a day. It was just a cold, but it was the kind that knocked me on my ass. And then here's the part that sucks. I came out of it. I was good for like a week and a half. And then yesterday, it was like day one all over again. It was like, it was just coming on like it was fresh. Yeah. Like, man. So I was home today in bed for most of today. There's a fan of ours named Lynx. She does 3D printing.
Oh, okay.
She wanted to make us a 3D printed red cow.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's pretty nice, right? Look, with the headphones and everything. Yeah, you got the headphones and everything.
You got the headphones and everything.
And you got the stink lines and everything.
I would wear my headphones, but they have too much audio bleed.
It could be maybe like just kind of go on my shoulder. Could be a mascot. I don't know. I like him though. He's
That's awesome.
I think we determined that the red cow's name is Rosie, in case anybody's ever curious. There's a stuffed animal version of it that Emily made somewhere around here, and I think she was the one who called it Rosie, the red cow.
Yeah, and what do we call our fan base? I think
The herd?
The herd. We floated around the herd. I don't know.
Boxy ladies and Mac daddies.
Boxing. Oh, yeah, I know. Like, I think Game Grumps calls their fans the Lovelies or something. Yeah, everyone has their.
My lovelies. The worms are part of me, my love. Yeah, those Oni Play guys, they're so funny. I thought, we've been cracking up at the when they're done and will be released when they're done. Came to find out it was an AI written song. You can actually watch the video where they plugged it into the AI software. And then just recently I got recommended the have you seen the Snow White? It's like all the mean comments about the Snow White trailer as a song.
Yes, I think I shared that, yeah.
Oh man, that's good.
That is good, yeah.
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, what's the biggest Disney flop of all? Shut it!
It's good. Yeah, it takes all the mean comments on the trailer and it makes a song out of them. It's you can't miss it.
I understand like the aversion to like, oh, it's AI, well then it's not as fun. But it's like, is it? I mean, if it's got a good hook and the person who inputted it, had some like creative vision for what it could be. I have been noticing that there's definitely an overcorrection with AI. Let's put it that way. Like I understand all the arguments. I understand how frustrating the slop can be and the auto-generated crap and the threats that it poses and stuff. But you flash one AI image and somebody just melts down in the comments each and every time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I think they've decided they're going to go ahead and melt down every time, and I think it's a little bit pathetic.
What a pathetic bitch.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's you're not going to get rid of it. It's not going to go away. It's going to be a tool. I mean, we're using it at work for certain things. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
It can try to make its own decisions, but it's not very good at that. It's better at taking direction and then producing something. I was talking to somebody recently that was like, I was asking her, like, why aren't you using GPT to solve that problem or whatever? And she was like, well, honestly, because it seems like it'd be hard for me to understand. And I was like, that's interesting. Or hard for me to learn, like learning a new tool. And I was like, I don't really look at it as like learning new technology. I look at it more like learning how to work with somebody new. You really, there are major principles to how you would work with the thing. Like providing lots of context and lots of rich content that's relevant to what you're trying to accomplish. But the number one thing is, at the end of the day, you're the judge of whether or not what it produced was worth anything.
Right.
And if your bar is very, very low, then it's going to produce slop and you're going to publish slop and people can judge that. And yeah, there's definitely classless ways to use it. I was talking to somebody who's a documentarian recently, and they were, I was telling them, I was like, have you noticed, like, if you use any AI imagery, like the comments melt down? And he was like, oh yeah. He goes, but that like, we had this archival photo, black and white archival photo, and we used AI to just provide like just a little bit of motion, just to make it like a little bit of video, and like not too much, or else they'll freak the fuck out. But just something to kind of make it nice.
Oh, you see all those like images on Twitter that people animate, and they're just like nuts. Like people fight, like they make people fight that didn't fight before. And,
some crazy.
And it's like, it looks crazy because like people will emerge from somebody else and get into the fight. It's like crazy.
There's just so much endless demand for content. I saw something recently. It was there's some I don't know if you saw the whole thing about honey. And how obviously everybody knew it was a data harvesting plugin for Chrome, but come to find out that like there's all kinds of nefarious things with this fucking plugin.
Everybody was hawking that, from what I remember. Like
it's like BetterHelp, who's reached out to us recently. They're like, we think
or at least
BetterHelp.
I think it's BetterHelp. you never know, like with all these people getting hacked and stuff.
Well, we'll talk about that in a moment. But I saw an ad for Rocket Money. It's some sort of like. It'll show you what you've, all the subscriptions that you're subscribed to that you forgot about, you're wasting money on. To which every time I hear that, I'm like, who's forgetting what they subscribe to? Just like money out the door every month, and you're not even.
Yeah, I only have one credit card, and I have my bank account. it's just so easy for me to glance at the statements and see what's coming out.
Right.
I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand the utility of that. But maybe people have multiple credit cards. I don't know. I'm not really.
I mean, if you're subscribing to so many things that you're becoming blind to it, like you got a problem.
Yes.
But I'm sure a lot of people have a problem. But anyway, the ad, it was a Facebook ad, I think, and it was just straight up stand-up comedy. So it was a stand-up comedian who was like, I got this thing called Rocket Money. You guys heard about this? They were at the Improv or something, and he was like, basically, it shows you all of your worst decisions you've ever made. He was trying to sell it like it was like a
real thing,
self-deprecating, and here's basically a murderer's row of everything that's bad about you. And then there was like crowd work too, because crowd work has become this extremely popular thing on TikTok. And it's like, so rocketmoney.com, and you can feel as ashamed as I am. Like you took an actual stand-up comedy set and you just made it the commercial.
Yeah. Well, and you I guess you'd be scrolling in the feed and you'd be like, oh, maybe this looks like something I would stop on.
That's the whole idea.
That's interesting.
That's the whole idea. I mean, I've seen it in the form of like TikTok reels. Me when I try to get my husband a gift, and it turns out that's an ad.
You see that on like Twitter all the time.
Yeah,
and like even the ones that are like they're not even ads; they're just posts, and then you see the community. It's like this is an unsanctioned ad, and like they're actually selling this. Yeah, and they're just trying to, I don't know, hide ads in viral content.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the legalities around that are, where like you have to be very, very clear that you're advertising. I think we have some friends who, they get approached about like whatever, LinkedIn Learning or whatever the hell for their sponsorships. And we were talking, and yeah, BetterHelp emailed us. And I was just like, you'd have to give me a lot of money to read an ad on this podcast.
Yeah. Like I know like they see our content and know that we and all of our audience might need therapy, but it's not.
Well, it's funny. They provided 3 links to people from 2 years ago, because I think BetterHelp's another one of those like kind of exposed companies that people have problems. My therapist never responded and this sort of thing. So all of their most famous spots are from 2 years ago, but it was people in the millions, and they were like, we really think that we align with your content. And I'm like, you sure about that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I used to listen. I don't listen to many true crime podcasts, but BetterHelp was always in true crime podcasts. I'm like, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. After the show, get some therapy.
Get some therapy because you're a sick son of a bitch.
Elaborate on that.
No, I won't.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.